So most people think fashion is Gucci, Yeezy slides, and hype collabs, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath the surface are hidden designers, cultural shifting moments, and underground movements shaping the entire fashion industry. What's up, y'all? It's your boy 555 Kareem, and let's dive into the fashion iceberg. All right, so first we're starting off with level 1, the tip of the iceberg. This is like still outside of the water. And the tip of the iceberg is pretty much going to be like basic fashion things that everybody knows, like Zara, Supreme, the Louis Vuitton monogram, what else? Balenciaga, Triple S, you know, basic fashion things that are just like common knowledge. That's like the very tip of the iceberg. That's like, I would say like level 1, you're like just getting introduced into fashion. Like you're shopping at Zara, you want like Balenciaga, you want like hyper things. You're like entry level fashion. All right, so now we're at level 2, and this is like more popular fashion things that has like some substance to it. It's kind of the if you know level, but like not really the if you know level. You're like dipping your feet into the water at this point. You're no longer at the tip of the iceberg. You're like starting to go down deeper into the iceberg. This is when you get to like Rick Owens Dark Shadow, Raf Simons Adidas, you know, collabs like that. You're not really into like Rick Owens main line yet. You're like just getting like introduced to Rick Owens, probably with like a pair of like Ramones or Geo baskets. It's still like, well, Geo baskets are main line, but you've just seen like people wearing them, and then you search Rick Owens and like, oh my gosh, Geo baskets are $1,000, but Ramones are $300, so I'm gonna get Ramones. And that's because Ramones are Dark Shadow. It's like a sub line, but it's still Rick Owens. It's not like you're deep into Rick Owens mainline archive Sparrows 2002. You're still like introductory level. Again, Raf Simons Adidas, you're getting introduced to Raf Simons. You're getting introduced to Raf Simons by Adidas, you know, something easy, calm to wear, affordable, accessible. Comme des Garçons play heart shoes, you know, everybody. I feel like the heart shoes are like every fashion person introductory to fashion. That's like, you know, when you get Comme des Garçons play heart shoes, you're like stepping into, it's like when you get heart shoes, you're like, oh my gosh, Comme des Garçons play heart shoes, and then you're like, what's the next step? And that's when you get Rick Owens Ramones, and then from there, like if you after Rick Owens Ramones, you've pretty much like entered the water. Then you're just about to start expanding into like more things. But I'd be like heart shoes. Comme des Garçons play heart shoes is like underneath Zara. It's like you're about to start like really getting into the fashion iceberg. You're about to start really deep diving into fashion, going into the fashion water, going into the waters, going deeper and deeper. And then you start looking at archive TikToks. Now we're at level 3 of the iceberg, style over brands. This is like you've entered the water, like you're going down deep under. Your foot is no longer in the water. You're like submerging your body into the iceberg at this point. Like you're focused on style, cuts, and silhouettes over just like hype brands and hype collabs. At this point, you're into things like Capital, Issey Miyake, things with like more structure, more sculptural shapes and silhouettes. Yohji Yamamoto, thriftcore fits. You're kind of into like upcycling and kind of like being sustainable. You're starting to look into like more secondhand pieces. You're probably shopping on like Grailed and things like that. This is the 3rd level of the fashion iceberg. You're like submerging yourself with fashion culture at this point. It's like now fashion has like sort of become a part of your life, and like you're always thinking about how things are going to look on your body rather than it being just like a hype collab or something. This is when style becomes more important than flexing. You stop chasing trends and you really start to curate your identity at this point. Now we're at level 4 of the fashion iceberg, and this is like when you're like obsessed with archive pieces. You only wear vintage, you only shop secondhand, you only shop archive obsessions. I only wear archive pieces. I no longer shop new. I barely even look at runway shows anymore. You're into things like the Helmut Lang bulletproof vest. You're a heady boy. Number 9, archive number 9, archive undercover, archive 1990 Comme des Garçons, archive 2002 Sparrows, Rick Owens. You're into archive. At this point, you're like heading down to the bottom of the iceberg. You're like in too deep at this point. You're obsessed with fashion. Fashion has become more than just a lifestyle. It's become something that you live for. You want to travel for fashion. You want to go to fashion week. And the last level of the fashion pyramid, the forgotten. These are things, if you see these people wearing them in public, just start a conversation with them. Just start a conversation with them, fam. Call Christian Paul, people with greedy boots. I would even say Rick Owens, but I feel like Rick Owens is like a phase. I'm always saying this, like people, I feel like, you know, Rick Owens, everybody who's into fashion started off with a Rick Owens phase, and then you just like phase out of Rick Owens and you discover other designers. But I'm like, everybody in fashion has at least one piece of Rick Owens in their closet. Faithfully, everybody in fashion has something Rick Owens in their closet. Rick Owens is like definite cult following. Rick Owens can be at the top of the fashion iceberg, and he can also be at the bottom of the fashion iceberg, you know? Nah, level 6 is definitely for the real ones, the collectors, for the people who would definitely get a new pair of boots over paying their rent. Style is like a ritual to them, and it's no flexing because nobody around them actually knows how much what they're wearing is worth but them. So where do you fall on the iceberg? Let me know down below in the comments. Remember, real style doesn't flex, it tells the truth. Like and subscribe for more deep dives. Peace out.